There's spoilers in this show. So don't listen to this podcast if you haven't seen the Crimes of Grindelwald. Okay, let's go.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ignorance Is This, a podcast all about a different way of experiencing cinema with little to no knowledge about it beforehand. Sleepy nighttime edition.
Ooh, nights. Because it is 8:15 p.m. as
Yes.
it's recording.
And I'm freshly awoken from a nap. My name is Scott Martin, and with me is the man who runs on Duncan, Oliver Deer.
Running on Duncan like he doesn't mean nothing. He's roly-poling down a hill, and there I go, running on
When
him.
I wrote that, I wrote it Duncan, as in Dunkin,
Yeah.
and then a little apostrophe, and it makes complete sense, but then when I say it out loud, I realize it sounds like Duncan, like the man.
Yeah, I'm running on a man. But I guess what you mean is Dunkin' Donuts? Is that?
Yes.
Like you're fueled by Dunkin' Donuts, you're running on Dunkin'.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is a Dunkin' Donuts. I think it was America Runs on Dunkin'.
Okay. How do you not know where it's from? Do you just have this phrase book open and it doesn't tell you what they're from?
Well, no, I've got a list of them, and then I pick what one I think will work, and then I forget.
Oh, okay. I see.
I just write in my notes what is necessary. And then that doesn't include the actual company. But I'm pretty sure this was Dunkin', but yeah, I promise you it's the Dunkin' of the act of putting something in another thing and taking it out, and not Dunkin', the man that you like to have a beer with.
And not Dunkin', the act of placing a ball through a hoop with incredible high jump.
Now, is that the same as the one that I explained? Because you're putting something into something.
Oh, yeah. You're dunking a donut you're dunking your hoop into your cup of milk.
Swish, yes.
Technically, that's actually weird because the donut is hoop shaped. So you would technically be putting some sort of circular food into the donut. Maybe a M&M. This segment, in fact, just reveals how slogans don't make much sense out of context.
It's like I've been listening to the Hamish and Andy podcast lately.
Oh yeah.
And at the beginning of the show, they say hello, hello, hello in different languages, and then Hamish tries to figure out where that language is from. And then they talk about the country for a little bit, but lately, within the last 10 or so episodes, Hamish realizes that it completely wastes times of the podcast, and it just makes him look like an idiot. So he's like, all right, they say hello, hello, hello in whatever language, and then he just goes, yep, cool, moving on. And I feel like that's going to happen with this segment, where we've completely tapped out all the information that we know on advertising and slogan. And eventually we're just going to say Duncan and not talk about the mate that you like to have a beer with, and just move on to the episode.
We're like 3 minutes in, we have so much to cover, and we're like, oh, should we just not discuss this? But we need to, 'cause it's what the people demand, I'm pretty sure, anyway.
We normally play little segment and games at the end of the podcast, and we've decided for this week to scrap it because we have so much to say. Yeah. And yet we've already spent 5 minutes on Dunkin' Donuts.
I think that's the hardest thing with the podcast, is the actual segments at the end don't take as much time as the waffling at the start, because we forget we're supposed to be starting to talk about a movie.
Yeah.
And we're still talking about donuts. And I think since we brought up the fact that we are delaying the start of the episode, it has been like another minute and a half.
Oh my god. all you Ignorance Is This fans, you enjoying this meta chat?
Yeah. Like even me saying that sentence, another 30 seconds.
All right, let's move on to the actual podcast this week then, because we're going to get straight into it. No dilly-dallying other than that first 6 minutes.
No bloody dilly-dallying. No.
Because we've got a new Harry Potter movie to talk about.
We have a bloody new Harry Potter movie. We've never had this before in the podcast, and it's so exciting. It's so very exciting when a new Harry Potter movie comes out, isn't it? Because Harry Potter's done. Harry Potter's done in the books.
And you and I are both big Harry Potter fans.
We are very, very big Harry Potter fans, and that will definitely weigh into our thoughts on the movie, I assume.
Yes. Oh,
there's no
100%.
There's no objectivity here.
No, absolutely not.
This is a completely subjective perspective from fans who are very diehard and own a lot of Harry Potter related merchandise.
Who literally has one of the house's emblems on his keys.
Yeah. Do you? You do? You have Hufflepuff on your keys?
I've got a Hufflepuff emblem on my keys, yes.
Excellent. For the viewers, what house are you? What house have you been sorted by Pottermore?
Yes, please. Wait, is that a question for me or the fans?
Yeah, question for you, sorry.
Oh, okay. Well,
so they know.
If you're listening to this podcast after I post it on Podmate's Facebook page or anywhere else, write a comment and let us know what house you're in. But I'm in Hufflepuff. I got sorted into Hufflepuff way back when the conspiracy was that no matter what the answers were that you put in, you were destined to be part of a particular house from when you started the website.
Yeah.
Because in that way, you're Harry Potter fans. A lot of them, not all of them, of course not, but a lot of the people are going to have very similar personality types if you're a Harry Potter fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of Gryffindors and Ravenclaws, I would say, primarily. Your book readers and your people that try to give all the correct answers, and I'm using quotations there in the quiz, the correct answers to get the one that you want, which is Gryffindor, right? So the conspiracy was that no matter what you picked, you needed to be evenly assorted, because at this point, Pottermore was like a team thing. Your house was like accumulate points at the end of the month. You would like win something if you got the most points for your house. So I was sorted into Hufflepuff, and I became incredibly attached to that. And now I'm too scared to take the quiz. now that objectivity is now taken away from it, and it's apparently a little bit more legit based on what you actually answer. I'm terrified to take that quiz again.
Yeah, well, I think it obviously started from a place of they tried to make it so it would sort you correctly. It wasn't random, but now they have refined it a lot apparently to really weed out those people lying about being Gryffindors.
Yes. Now the reason why I don't want to do it at second is because I think you had a house and then you had to switch to another house, correct?
Yeah, I was one of those people who I believe the first time I did it, I lied about my answers and I got Gryffindor. And
I knew it.
And the second time I took it, I did it as honestly as I could, and I got Slytherin.
Yeah, right.
And like you, I've also become very attached to Slytherin, and I will stand up for their beliefs.
I had now for true believers of the podcast, you know that Oliver and I lived together for a year. Mm-hmm. I had Hufflepuff memorabilia in my room, the keychain aforementioned, and Ollie, when you went to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter overseas, you actually brought me back some Hufflepuff merch, which I really appreciated, and I had in my room. I had a big pillow.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And literally next door to me was a man that had a big fuck off poster of just the Slytherin emblem. that was so big.
It's like I knew you had your little pillow, your little Hufflepuff pillow, and I was like, and I'll be framing a large snake.
Yes, and isn't that very Hufflepuff and Slytherin of us?
Yeah,
like I'm a little cute, quaint boy with my comfort, and you're like big, bold, and brash. Like, yep, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, I'm Slytherin and proud, and I want people to know how special and ambitious I am.
Are we in the minority of being a Slytherin and being a Hufflepuff and remaining mates?
No. Did you know that it is canon? J.K. Rowling says so herself, and it's not disproved by the books at all. Slytherins and Hufflepuff is the best friend to Slytherins.
Because, oh, really?
Yeah, because Slytherins don't get along with Gryffindors.
Of course.
I think they don't really get on with Ravenclaws. But Hufflepuffs, because they are so open-minded, they can see Slytherin's point of view, so they don't mind them as much.
Well, look at that.
Yep.
We're not special at all.
J.K. Rowling knew that we were destined to be friends.
It was meant to be.
Yeah. So, anyway, we're fans.
Yes, we're fans. I suppose you can say that.
And it is absolutely... I just find it outrageous that we get new Harry Potter movies. Like, the moment the trailer dropped for this, I immediately went and watched it. I kind of couldn't wait And I did tell you, I said, listen, I'm watching this.
I think you told me afterwards. I think you said, listen, I've watched this.
Oh, yes.
And I had to decide whether I was angry at you or not.
I did not wait for your approval.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously this is a very big thing, and I'm baffled that. Look, I know that you like Harry Potter, and I know that you you're not nearly as much of a. You know all the spells. You wrote a book when you were a kid.
Yeah, of all the spells.
But to find out that you went half a second of not watching this trailer, but you managed to go months and months and months without watching The Last Jedi is genuinely incredible for me. But even as I didn't watch Star Wars as a kid, and I loved Harry Potter to death. I'm still like, oh my god, I can't believe that he had such restraint regarding Star Wars, but not this.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, because Star Wars is, like, even though I really like the new series, they're not as ingrained in childhood, I guess. Whereas Harry Potter, I've just, it's hard to remember time without it, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess that's the logic there. But you also watched the trailers, or did you not watch them because I didn't watch them? Oh, sorry, because I did watch them. Or did you watch them?
I think I watched them because I watched the first trailer before I found out that you hadn't seen it. So I continued to just do my duty to the podcast.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, I completely let it slip. Yeah, I just wasn't paying. I decided to try to be as ignorant about this as possible, but it was more that I just wasn't. It wasn't like I was absolutely dead set on being ignorant, but I tried.
Yeah.
But there was no way because I had already seen one of the trailers.
Yeah, sure. But I do think out of the trailers, the first one doesn't reveal as much as the other ones do.
Yeah. The second one revealed a very big thing, and I saw that through Twitter because Twitter was up in arms.
The second one reveals way too much in my opinion. Yeah. Like, I suppose when I watched the second one, I wasn't really thinking about it, and the more you break it down or think about it, then you realize, hang on, that's like, you can kind of piece together the plot now, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this is a spoiler podcast, and we have a spoiler warning at the top of the show, and this is a second spoiler warning. G'day, spoilers. What was it about the second trailer that completely spoiled something for you? What primarily was the spoiler in those trailers?
Oh, well, I suppose there wasn't huge plot things. Well, not that I can remember. I'm sure there are. But the big one was the reveal of Nagini. So the idea that Nagini, even though it's a, quotation marks, a character from the original Harry Potter series, it's a snake, Voldemort's pet snake. But in this one, there's a woman named Nagini, and you don't initially in the trailer understand what that is, but what that means. But in the movie, it turns out that she's I can't remember the name for it.
And is it like an hibiscus?
It's a hibiscus.
Yeah, it was something like that. It definitely ended with "is." I think.
I think it started with an M. It started with an M, so it might be.
It'd be like something. It'd be the Latin word for metamorphosis.
Maybe
the way that J.K. Rowling writes.
I didn't mind. I just quickly, I didn't mind the explanation of what she is. Like, I think, oh, that's a cool idea for a creature, I guess. Like,
yeah, she
was a woman cursed to one day turn into a snake and then be that snake forever. So that was.
But like, even the way that I just typed in Nagini into Google to try to find out this word, and the first thing that comes up is a Pottermore article, and it says it transpires that Nagini the snake from Harry Potter used to be a woman with a terrible curse. So like people are complaining a lot that this wasn't very obvious in the books, and we talked about this briefly last episode. Someone tweeted at her and was like, "Hey, how long have you been holding on to this secret that Nagini was actually a human all this time?" And she replied with like 21 excruciating years, and the whole community was just like, "No, you didn't. No, and if you did, then great, but we don't necessarily believe you." And she has this, and I'm going to go well into this later on in the review. J.K. Rowling has a habit of changing things post Potter, changing lore. So like when this was like such a big event that there is technically a crossover character between the movies of Fantastic Beasts and Harry Potter, and it was in the trailer. It was like the 40th second in the trailer, so it wasn't even the big, you know, in the way of like the way that comedy is written, where like the last joke is the funniest and the first joke is the second funniest.
Yeah,
it was just this middle meddling moment. Oh my god, Nagini's in this. Cool, like that is cool, but it was just, you know, if you're watching this, you're scrolling through Facebook, you don't have the sound on, you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, like they passed over it in the trailer just as like, oh, by the way, this is in the thing. We don't,
exactly, yeah.
Like, if you care or not, we don't care. Like, it's just a little thing that's in the movie. And then everyone's like, what? But, I mean, I'm not against the idea that, in a way, I think, oh, that kind of puts Nagini, like, paints Nagini in a more tragic light and just makes you think about it a little more.
I really like it. I really like it. I just didn't care for J.K. Rowling saying that she had thought about this from day one, when there was literally thousands of pages of books that don't mention that very important detail, and she reckons that she had it from day one. But yeah, whatever. That's just me being salty.
But we can get more to what Nagini actually did in the movie later. But yeah, the actual link is fine, I thought, just the trailer. And just lots of other things in the trailer that, like, I suppose, as I was watching the movie, I realised I've kind of seen all this, you know? Like, there wasn't many moments, or there wasn't many scenes that weren't in some way shown in the trailer. Like, they revealed most of the Fantastic Beasts in the trailer. They revealed all the characters that are going to be in it. And yeah. So just more like... The trailers revealed a lot of content of the movie. I didn't get a lot of plot from it, though, I guess. So yeah, I don't know what you thought of the trailers, or what was your opinion going in?
Well, it was a hype trailer. It was a new trailer for a film set in the Wizarding World, which is very exciting for us.
Yeah.
So I was very excited. Yes, I think that the second trailer in particular was a little bit spoilery, and like I've already explained why I thought the Nagini reveal was shitty. But other than that, it was a Harry Potter trailer. I was just like, sick. I'm so excited for this. It's going to be awesome. I was really looking forward to it this year. And I just found out Nagini was a female human maledictus.
Maledictus. Okay, cool. Yeah. I like that word.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I do like that.
But yeah, no, you're right. The trailer was so hype. Like, I could have gone frame by frame and, like, you know, learnt new things, because there were moments I was watching that trailer like, oh, that's a look at that. like oh yeah, that's right. They showed actually, this is kind of a spoiler, I guess. Like, in the trailer they show the mirror of Erised, Dumbledore as Jude Law looking into the mirror of Erised and seeing Grindelwald there. I think
it's not so much a spoiler, it's just like, that's a bit shitty that it's in the trailer, considering if you're a fan of the series, you'll get a kick out of seeing that in the film.
Yeah, it's more like it's a kick and they know it, so they're showing you. But it would have been an emotional sort of thing in the movie if they were to just like only reveal that in the movie.
Do you think that I don't know exactly how the numbers went, and I think the reviews were like average to good for the first Fantastic Beasts movie.
They were good.
But they were good. Do you think the company that cut this trailer up was specifically thinking of, we got to get in the people that don't know that this is Harry Potter? You know, we got to include things like the snake. Oh, people, you remember the snake, right? It did that scary jumpy thing at the beginning of the fourth movie, I think it was, when it like lunged out at the camera.
Yeah.
And the mirror. You guys remember that from the first film, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that that's what they were trying to do?
I do think that's what they were trying to do, and I also have another reason I think they were doing it, but we'll get to that in a sec. So, all things said, the actual movie itself, when we went and saw it, coming out of the theatre, I think we maybe share an overall mood.
Do we?
I don't know actually. I don't know.
You and I I would have thought that we've given each other nothing about this.
No, we haven't.
We've hit close to 20 minutes of pre-rambling about this. we've never done this before. We normally jump right in.
Yeah, we've saved it. We've saved it up. Listen, I'll just say, I really liked, I liked some of the beasts in this movie, and I like some of the concepts, and like, you know, the Maledictus, cool concept. I love that, and I like some of the magic in it, because that's Harry Potter.
I do love magic.
I do, yeah. But the overall feeling was just complete and utter disappointment.
This was the worst movie of this year.
I've never been more disappointed in a movie. And obviously we've just said how hyped we were, so that's understandable.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the worst movie of the year because we happened to see Predator. But,
oh yeah.
But
You're right.
I think, but the thing is, Predator will leave my mind. Predator leaves my mind maybe come 2019, I'll forget I ever saw it.
Yeah.
This movie sticks with you, or it's sticking with me, and it's this annoying little thorn in the side of what was otherwise a perfect franchise. A franchise of 8 movies, one of which was split into 2, never a good idea usually, and all glowing reviews, loved, you know, pretty much loved by fans.
Yeah, and universally, for sure.
And then a spin-off, which no one expected, this particular spin-off, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. That was, even though maybe not every fan gets around it, it was a good movie and it was fun, at least in my opinion. And then this just was, I don't know what this was, Scott. What was this movie? It was just like...
terrible.
It was terrible. It was the biggest, like, we can't come up with new ideas, we're just building off you liked all the stuff from the first Beast movie, let's keep going with the Beast thing and let's keep going. It was just, it was Hollywood trash. It was franchise trash. Like, the moment, you know, when you see that Wizarding World logo at the front in the sky, that sky is reserved for titles. It is not for your stupid logo, your Wizarding World logo. I hated that. And then it proceeds to live up to expectations of that logo and be like, yes, this is a franchise now, and we're taking out all the soul, we're taking out all the heart, and it's just magic with no plot. It's things you know from a recognizable franchise in an unrecognizable, I don't know, disaster of plot and characters.
Oh my God, Ollie.
I'm very mad.
I've never heard you so riled up before. That's normally reserved for me on the podcast.
Yeah. The overall feeling is just disappointment, like, that turns to anger and then turns to it turns to anger, and then I'm like, oh, but, you know, I should have expected this, and it's back to disappointment and then back to anger, and whose fault was this? And I just think J.K. Rowling had a hand in this.
Well, J.K. Rowling wrote it.
She wrote it, and I just feel like, you know, this is where the feelings become so mixed, because, like, J.K. Rowling owes me nothing. She produced my favourite franchise of all time. Yeah. But how could you do this? How could you do this to us? It's just, you know, it's just disappointment. I don't get it. Yeah. I don't get it. I'll share. I'll let you get a word in. Sorry, but I'll just share the moment of, like, acceptance was at the very, like, the credits are rolling.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm like, at this point I'm in denial essentially, because I'm like,
you're hoping I can come through with the goods and see you and let you see the light that it's actually good.
Yeah. And basically, I went and saw it with Grace, and I kind of turned to Grace, and we're not really saying anything. Then she just goes, well, we can write that one off, can't we? And then I was like, there it is. Like, that's confirmation. Like, another big Harry Potter fan confirming that what I just saw was not good.
Was in fact bad.
Because the whole time I was trying to come up with, is there something good? Like, because there were moments, there were concepts in it that I like. It's just everything, the plot and everything that weaves all these little things together just sucked. Anyway, have your say. Have your synopsis of what you thought.
I was ready to be your role. What you're doing right now. I thought that was going to be me this episode because I thought you were going to find something that you liked in it and enjoy it because it is Harry Potter and you do like all the actors in it and everything. But no, I went in hoping that it was going to be great. I was aware of the review score, the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Oh no. Well, I don't know what it is, but
no,
I can't
that's
imagine. Okay. Anyway, keep going.
And I was sitting there before the movie started thinking, like, I am going to enjoy this because it's the Crimes of Grindelwald, you know, late nights after being a big Potterhead all my life and going through all this trivia pages on the internet about, like, who Grindelwald is and learning all this lore that is only touched upon in the books and blah, blah, blah. And just going, Jesus Christ, we're going to actually see all this stuff. That's so exciting. And walking out of the cinema just so angry at David Yates and J.K. Rowling. Like, you're angry, but I'm just sad.
Yeah, I'm sad too. Because I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm so conflicted. I'm conflicted with it all, lots of negative feelings, but they're all different negative feelings. Like, whose fault was this? Like, did J.K. Rowling really do this? Did Warner Brothers somehow have a hand in this shit? Like, who? And then from my point of view as an editor, it was the editor's fault, and I'm like, they messed up her good story, you know?
Yeah, right.
But I don't think I can blame them entirely, even though I didn't like the editing.
There is a cause to this. What people are saying, why this is so meddling and boring.
Yeah.
Are you aware of the Fantastic Beasts' future?
From what I understand, it's 4 movies. 2 more movies. That's all I know. Okay.
There's 5 in total.
Okay.
And they announced that before the first movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
So this is number 2, and the last one's going to be Dumbledore defeating Grindelwald. Most likely. So this is this movie, the next movie, and probably the movie after that are all going to be like this. And that's why I think that they used... I think that's why they used J.K. Rowling's script and not a film script writer, because a lot of people say, why wasn't this concept or this character in the original Harry Potter movies?
Yeah.
And that was always, like, the main concern. Like, a lot of people, like, it just doesn't have the same, like, depth as the books. So I think now they're thinking, well, let's give ourselves heaps of room, 5 movies worth of room, give J.K. Rowling the script to write, and she can build a Harry Potter-esque bubble of lore.
Yeah.
And give it to you in 5 films and include all the characters and all these, like, background characters, I should say, and concepts and stuff that if this were a trilogy, those would be left on the cutting room floor. But let's give ourselves so much room that we can use all that. And what that means is, by the time the series is wrapped up, that might be great. But right now, Crimes of Grindelwald, the film by itself, is a hot steaming pile of mess with tenuous links to other films, barely an overarching plot, characters that do nothing despite being there, and characters that we don't know or don't care about taking 90% of the screen time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's going to all be great at the end of it all, but right now this is shithouse.
That's interesting. Because what I hoped, and this is kind of what I thought from Fantastic Beasts, right? Is Fantastic Beasts, the first one, stands as such a good movie on its own. Like, if there was no sequel, it wouldn't matter, you know? Like, and you don't
give us bloody Quidditch Through the Ages as the next film.
Yes! Oh, you're speaking my language there. Like, that... See, that would be interesting.
Hogwarts of History, book 3.
I wouldn't mind it. You don't even have to have watched Harry Potter to understand Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. It's just a plot. And I thought this one, Crimes of Grindelwald, was going to be similar, although I should have been more wise, considering there was a bunch of things.
This is a franchise.
And also there's a bunch of things, including the title, that are references to other lore that have been established before.
Yeah. Like, even if you watch the first one and you're not a Harry Potter fan, or sorry, you're with someone that's not a Harry Potter fan, and then they go at the end, oh, it was Johnny Depp the whole time. He's Grindelwald. And then they go, who's Grindelwald? And then all you have to do is lean over and just go, Wizard Hitler. Yeah. And then they're going, oh, okay, cool. Oh, that's Wizard Hitler. Yeah. Oh, it was Wizard Hitler the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, even in the context of Fantastic Beasts, the first one, sorry, they open the movie with the newspapers saying Grindelwald has returned, blah, blah, blah. So, like, even there, it's established that he's in it. Like, he exists. So it stands alone.
Yeah, but I just mean, like, in the overarching, like, oh, what does this mean for the world? You just say, he's basically Hitler. And it's like, sick. I get it.
Sick. Cool, Hitler. Love it. But, yeah, so in Crimes of Grindelwald, it's more like... they're bringing back all these characters from the first one. So if you hadn't seen the first one, it wouldn't make sense, I feel.
And I had saw the first one, and I was looking at these characters going, who are you? I didn't remember any character that wasn't Newt or the funny muggle.
I thought it was annoying that they brought those characters back. Because I just expected it to be a standalone. I didn't think they'd been bringing back all these characters. And, like, you know, when they bring back the Muggle, mate, and the Queenie, I'm just like, why are you here? Why did you come back here? Because you had a perfect little ending back in New York. You have no reason to just come to London for the next adventure. Like, and he had his mind obliviated in the first one, which was like a sad moment where he's in the rain and he gets obliviated and he doesn't remember anything. And then in this one, he's just back and he's just like, oh, no, don't worry, I remembered because they were all positive feelings. They weren't negative. Yeah. They were positive memories, so I remembered them all. It's like, fuck you. That doesn't make sense. That's just stupid.
It was literally explained in the very first scene as well. Like, just, hey, here he is. Well, sorry, first scene of him being back. Here you go. Here he is. Oh, you're confused? Here's the answer. It's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a one-sentence piece of dialogue just to quickly get that out of the way. It's not interweaved or important that he's back.
Yeah, and I would say that he wasn't necessary in this film at all.
No, I wouldn't even say Queenie was, even though she has like an arc, I guess. But in fact, she has probably one of the most noticeable arcs of the film, despite the fact it's not very good.
It doesn't. It's not. Oh, like, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is cool because I wasn't expecting this. Yeah. But then when I think about it, I think, no, this is dumb. Because she's mad. She's mad that she can't marry this non-magical guy. Mm. So then she switches sides to the person that is enforcing absolute destruction on those people.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
She's like, oh, but he's so charismatic, and, you know, he's like, you just got to listen to what he says.
That's another point.
he's Johnny Depp, and I'm stealing this from a review that I read. Yeah. But, like, a man with an eye like that is not charismatic. When you've got shaved sides, like, if you were still Colin Farrell, I would completely buy a incredibly charismatic, terrible person that you can get lost in their eyes, and he's just a dude, you know? He doesn't have to be dressed up wearing, like, with shaved sides and a glass eye and was he wearing earrings? I just imagine that he probably was.
He was ugly. He was an ugly mofo. He had some weird yucky blonde moustache.
Exactly. So if he's not charismatic, you can't get swept away in him.
Yeah.
You're sitting in that room at the end where he's giving a speech, and it's like, yeah, he's a good communicator, but I'm not going to join sides with him for that.
And Colin Farrell has beautiful eyes, so
I can get lost in those eyes all day.
it was the biggest criticism was people saying before the movie came out was just that, oh, why didn't they keep Colin Farrell? He's way better than Johnny Depp, and like he really suited that part, and he would have suited being Grindelwald. And I was so open-minded about, nah, but you haven't seen Johnny Depp yet, like you haven't given him a chance yet, and goddamn, he just phoned it in this. He just was like, hey, it's me again, Jack Sparrow, but like I'm bad, and I'm not even as well written as Jack Sparrow, so.
I'm going to oppose you on this, and this is the one time that I will ever defend Johnny Depp.
Okay.
I think that he personally was okay, but he wasn't given anything to do. Despite his name being in the film, he's got the potential to be a good villain, but they gave him nothing. Like he's just walking from point A to point B in a scene.
Yeah. You make a very good point. I think you summarized something I couldn't put into words. Was just like, I don't think he was bad. I just don't think he added anything, really.
Yeah, that's what. Like, I'm still excited to see when he is given something to do. And even though I don't support Johnny Depp as a creative or as anything, I don't support his work
as an individual in the world.
Yes, I do think that he can still give a good performance, even though I won't want to see it, but I will for this. I think that in the future, if you put him next to Jude Law in what's going to be the pointy end of this series, it's going to make for really amazing stuff. But in the point that we're in right now, it is boring and he's doing nothing.
Yeah, I guess one thing I didn't realize about this movie, maybe this is just because I had it in my head again that they were supposed to be standalone movies, but they aren't, was that I thought this movie Dumbledore and Grindelwald would face. Like I know that seems weird because that's like a massive battle, but I just thought, it's just, don't drag it out too much. Like,
yeah, well, like again, it would have been awesome to see that, but that's not their plan right now.
Yeah.
I wish it was.
Let's just a little bit of positivity.
No,
Jude Law was great.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah,
I think that I think I like him as Dumbledore more than the other two actors.
Michael Gambon.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not bad. Yeah.
I feel like Jude Law has this because in this he had to play innocent, but he's got that nice Dumbledore twinkle in his eye, which I think Michael Gambon lost.
I was gonna say he's got the twinkle in his eye. Yeah. Yes, that is exactly right. I'll actually say I'm pretty sure I enjoyed every single scene at Hogwarts. Every single scene. There's a Boggart scene. There was the Boggart scenes. I love Boggart.
I love Boggart. I'm putting that on the Twitter right now.
But how good is the Boggart scene in the Harry Potter 3, Prisoner of Azkaban?
Yeah. It's
just like, a classroom situation, which is fun. And you just get to see them learning something. It's great. And in this, the other scenes at Hogwarts, there was like a Mirror of Erised scene, which again, I don't mind that because it's like, hey, Dumbledore has a heart and he has someone he cares for. And that's like, when he says to Harry in the first book, I look in the mirror and I see me holding a nice woolly pair of socks. It's sad to realize that he's actually seeing, Grindelwald probably. I think that's nice.
I do like the now that we can consider, when we were watching the first Harry Potter film, Dumbledore is so silly, he's seeing woolly socks, but there is a deep darkness to him and a very deep lore regarding him and his family that now we can watch that and go, he probably is thinking of Johnny Depp. That's very interesting. But this was an issue that I had a very, very big issue with the film, and it's the fact that this is going to sound very left PC bullshit.
That's okay. We're allowed.
But I think that Crimes of Grindelwald tried very hard to have their cake and eat it too regarding Dumbledore's sexuality and his relationship with Grindelwald.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
So you know how JK changes shit post-release a lot.
Yeah.
The thing that really pisses me off about when she did that was her changing Dumbledore's sexuality right after the books had been released.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like that she made that statement after that it could potentially cost book sales.
I see, yeah.
Right? And so people have been roasting her for this for years now, and she finally had the chance to give it some credence on screen, and she doesn't.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
There is a term for this. It's called queer baiting.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Basically, yeah, the fact that for so long she just said, "Oh, and he's gay, by the way," just to appeal to everybody. Just so you know, I thought about this all the time. I never mentioned any relationship. That's because he was gay. But just so you know, I'm putting it out there. But long after, it can potentially start like a riot and affect my sales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now it's 2018. She's given the script. She has to put this into the film. And what they do instead is show them having like longing looks at each other in the mirror of Erised. And then that line where it's like, "Oh, you guys were close, just like brothers. Some would say we were closer than brothers."
Oh, yeah, that's
like, what the hell is that? Just say that they're in a relationship.
Yeah. Say
that they are madly in love and give them an on-screen kiss.
Yeah.
I just think that it is literally queer baiting to the point where it's like, here you go, just so you know, we all know what's really happening between these two, but we're not going to outright make it a big deal, because if we do, backlash, baby, and it's going to be real bad.
Yeah.
And it's very disappointing that she had the opportunity to do this and she still doesn't.
Yep, I 100% agree. Like, I feel like with this movie, this is the movie where they're establishing this, right? Like, if they're going to go ahead and turn this into a franchise, this is the movie where they establish that they love each other, and that sets the game for the rest of the films.
Mm-hmm.
They should have, even though it is the fact they love each other a part of the plot, because there's the whole thing about Dumbledore can't physically go and attack Grindelwald because they have some sort of truce magic between them where they can't fight. That's, it's a plot point in a way, but it's not drawn attention to, and it's not made. Everything's all very subtle with it. It should have been like a big part of the movie, shouldn't it?
Yes, definitely. I would describe it as cowardly. And you can even say like, "Oh, but it was set in the 1910s, 1920s at this point," and obviously, homosexual relationships are far not okay to the general public at this point. So no, we're not going to show that, because they wouldn't have made that. They would never have made that public in the first place. The only way that they alluded to it in this was when it was literally showing him what he desires most. It is only personal to him, and it only can be seen by Dumbledore. So it's not like, oh yeah, but they're not going to kiss in public, because why would they? But you've only given us the opportunity when you can show it to us, when, behind closed doors, and still make it a public message. Like, this was bad back then, but look, we're showing it in a movie that is for children, and it's okay. And they don't.
And also, they're the two most powerful wizards in the world. They can do whatever the hell they want. They should be able to show their love.
It's an incredible story. It's a great story of betrayal and disappointment from one side, and how they both think that each other's wrong, and how Dumbledore isn't as pure and like perfect as he seems to be in the early Harry Potter books, at least.
Yep.
And there's kind of like redeeming and irredeeming qualities from both of them, but they're not showing it. And if they are going to show it in the future, that's too late, because now is the perfect time to plant those seeds.
Yeah.
Because instead what you've done is you've given us new characters that we don't care about, and then let them explain to you physically with dialogue, talking to the audience, why they're important.
Every single piece of dialogue was just exposition. Everything. Like, there was no visual storytelling. This movie was just flashback central, and not in... and the flashbacks in lots of different ways.
Yeah.
There were flashbacks with magic. That where they'd conjure up a hologram, I would guess you would call it, so they can show everyone what was happening. There was flashbacks just where a character was talking, and then the movie itself would cut back to something.
There was flashbacks when you go to Hogwarts and we're all going, oh wow, Hogwarts. And then they go, you want more Hogwarts? Here's a flashback to when these other characters were in Hogwarts.
Yep. And it was just like, it's because sometimes it was just a cut back to the past. Sometimes it was a piece of magic, but the piece of magic wasn't even consistent. It looked like there was a spell that did, like brought up in the room physically so people could see it, or there was another spell that did something else. Like I don't even know. The magic, just the flashback magic wasn't consistent.
No.
And why? They can't do this because there is no magic for flashback. The magic for flashback is a pensive. That's been established. Yeah. Right? There's a pensive in Dumbledore's office in which you can view memories. That's what it's for. You can't just use your wand. And this is any old wizard. It's not just special wizards who do this. They just whip their wand out and wave it around the room and everyone can see what actually happened. And it's, God damn it. No one cares about flashbacks. If you wanted to do flashbacks so much, why don't you set a movie in the goddamn past? And maybe then you could actually show Dumbledore and Grindelwald's relationship,
Yeah. And there were 2 flash forwards as well. There was...
Yep.
The character looking into a crystal ball, which is very Harry Potter, not saying, "Oh, this is the future." Here, that's what, a couple hours from now. That's probably the future. Let's all go there. And then there was the other future in which Grindelwald vapes World War II.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, that's awful. That is literally exactly World War II. So how does he...
Yeah, how does he know?
Is he completely aware of that? And also, this was brought up in a podcast that I listened to. Was he... he's obviously terrible, and he is the Wizarding World's equivalent of Hitler. But, if he got the way that he wanted it to happen, does that mean that in the Muggle world... the actual Holocaust would not have happened? And then you got to consider, is Grindelwald better for the society in general because the Holocaust didn't happen?
Oh, that's amazing.
Is Grindelwald right?
I hadn't thought about that. That's fantastic. And you know what? You tell that to J.K. Rowling, she'll have a startled look on her face, and then she'll quickly begin writing new magic to explain why that's not the case.
And she'll only put it out on Twitter and not any official canon.
Oh yeah.
Just put it on Twitter. Hey guys, just so you all know.
I'm glad you brought up those flash forwards, because a whole thing with the books and the movies is that divination is a dumb subject. It doesn't work. People who can see into the future are frowned upon and laughed at. And the only time it's possible is under extremely rare circumstances which wizards don't actually understand. Wizards can't choose to see into the future. It's very rare and it's not well understood. So Grindelwald can just conjure up for everybody the future.
Yeah, and with a vape stick.
The whole scene with Nicholas Flamel, where he's appears, and you're even without, I don't know, we never saw Nicholas Flamel, but the moment he appears, you're it's Nicholas Flamel.
Yeah, I will say, no, he didn't necessarily add anything to the plot except for the fact that he had a funny moment where his hand got crushed by the slightest touch.
That's right.
Haha, that's funny, and it was cool. Oh, I can't fight because I'm old, but I can still help out. I still like the fact that they included Nicholas Flamel in a time when he's alive.
Yeah,
I think that was still a nice little tidbit there.
I think he belongs in this movie because literally he was alive and he was in France. And he's a friend of Dumbledore's who could... that wasn't a bad setup where they're I've got a friend in France. But he didn't add much after that. It could have been anyone,
No. And we know that he's still alive, so hopefully he can get given a role next movie.
That's true.
Again, more fuel into the fire of this movie is just fuel and not fire. Next
Yeah.
movie might be fire, but this is just fuel.
And he also has a crystal ball in his house, which is, dummy magic.
And he's not a dummy. He literally came up with the Philosopher's Stone.
To quote Stephen Fry, astronomy, nom 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 astronomy, and astrology, log of poo.
Oh my god! Okay. Is that seriously what he said?
Yeah, it's the way you differentiate between real space and fortune.
Okay. Log of poo.
Yeah,
very lovely image, Stephen.
Astronomy, nom nom nom, astrology, log of poo. Anyway, the whole the twist in this film, which again was told through a flashback, was dumb. The twist was dumb, and it didn't. You don't really care. J.K. Rowling loves doing this thing, right? And book readers will know this, and so will of course movie people. She dedicates an entire chapter in every book to explaining the plot twist, essentially.
Okay, yeah.
Which is fine. She does it very well in all of the books. In the third one, for example, they meet in the Shrieking Shack, and Sirius Black and Lupin are there, and they explain. In the books, they take a very long time to explain everything that happened in the past with the Marauders, and and everything that's happened now, and they reveal that Sirius Black is in fact a good guy.
Yep.
And they do that in every book. There's some sort of explanation for the mystery that's been building up over the whole movie or book. And this one, their supposed mystery is, who is Credence really? It's like, I don't care about your dumb family history, Credence. Like, you should barely be in this movie. You're barely a character still.
Yeah.
And they've got this loose plot of, we need Credence to find maybe he has a missing brother. We need to find that because that would maybe stop him being an Obscurus, and he needs to stop being Obscurus because Grindelwald is going to use him as a weapon. So it's all very, I don't know, and that's all explained through dialogue very quickly, isn't it? Then we get to the scene where, what's her name? Lestrange. The love interest, essentially, or it's who Newt used to love. Newt's ex-love interest, I guess. She explains who Credence really is, and that he's actually no one. Big twist. And that apparently when she was younger she swapped babies or something. That was so weak. She's like, I swapped the babies. It's like, Jesus Christ, that's a bloody soap opera plot point.
Yeah. Her name is Letta.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in Mad Max.
Anyway, it was just another.
I agree that was a very that whole scene was, and this is why I'm in the movie.
Yeah.
And then they show why she's in the movie, and here's my explanation on who Credence is, and then the other guy that people thought was Credence's brother was like, and here's why I'm in the movie.
Yeah.
And then he had a flashback on why he was in the movie and how he thinks that he's all connected. And again, these two characters weren't in the first one, and you tell us why they're important right at the end. And every scene that had them in beforehand, I was thinking, I don't care about you.
Yep.
So, and then also...
You're just a plot point or something, and I don't know, you have no character,
Yep.
I don't know who you are, don't know why you're here.
And spoilers for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them Volume 2, The Crimes of Grindelwald are bad. They all die anyway.
Yeah.
Heaps of them die.
Yeah. So they're just a plot point for this movie. And this movie's plot isn't even good.
They're the plot point for this movie so that they can give the last, 2 scenes.
Yeah.
This movie could have been the first 3 scenes and then the last 2 scenes or so.
Yeah.
Just give us a movie where he's hanging out in the briefcase with all the animals.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Animals, great. Do you agree with that? Beasts?
Yes.
Love
I loved the lion cat.
Yeah, I love the lion cat. I was going to say that, Scott. I love the lion cat because it looks so creepy, but it's cool.
I like big eyes.
And it could leap over France in a single leap. That's so cool.
That is cool.
It didn't come back though. That didn't happen.
Maybe again, more fuel, not for the fire.
Yeah. So in the last movie, they're like, oh wait, how can we get over there when we can't apparate and we don't have the portkey magic and we don't have flue powder? What are we going to do? And then, like, he whips that out of his case for the first time since this movie. And he's like, do you remember this? And then, like, they leap over the channel from France to Britain.
Do you think in 20 years they're going to not remake but remaster the Harry Potter films, and in the last movie where they escape from Gringotts, instead of flying away on a dragon, they jump on the back of this thing and he flies and he jumps over the whole of the bloody England in a single bound?
Yeah. I can't imagine how it would look to watch it do that. Like, I can't imagine. It just would look silly, I think. But
hey, you know who I really liked in this film?
Yeah.
Newt's brother.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I thought he was quite good, and they had a good connection between the two of them, and he wasn't evil at the end. Like, he's still just a good guy wanting to help.
And you totally think he's going to be evil at the end.
Oh, for sure. He's like, hey, this guy is my brother, and we didn't get along that well. And it's like, oh, here we go. New Malfoy. Bring him home.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was pretty good. He was good. I was going to say, there's so many things that never come back, you know? Like, remember the character that's introduced when the Ministry of Magic's trying to recruit Newt to be an Auror? And then he was like, no, I don't want to be an Auror. And then this dude comes out from the shadows behind them. You know?
What was he? Who was he?
You're remembering him now, aren't you?
He literally walked away from, like, a bloody, just like half a wall, like a paper wall. Like, you could see his shadow, I swear to God, beforehand. Yeah. And he comes out basically twirling his mustache, rubbing his hands together and going, whoa.
Yeah.
I will kill the boy. Who was he?
Do you know?
Was he in the first one? I literally don't know.
No, he wasn't in the first one. I realized, I had it explained to me where he comes back. Grace explained it to me. He comes back in one scene in this movie.
Oh, yeah. He was the one that made Ezra Miller turn into a big scribble again.
No.
That wasn't him?
That wasn't him. That was another Ministry of Magic personnel.
Wait, that what? Really?
Or it might have been. It might have been. It's not what I was thinking of, though. I'm pretty sure that was just a Ministry dude.
Okay. Let us know, guys.
Do you remember the shot where, like, I think it's Grindelwald is, like, in a sewer, and it's just one shot of them both silhouetted in the sewer, and then you see the background of the French Channel, and then this dude has his, like, bowler hat on, and he's like, you know, the Ministry are on to me, but I'm your informant, blah, blah, blah. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay, well, that happens. I'm pretty sure it's in the trailer. And it's just, like, it's weird because, like, at the start, they sign him on as an Auror, the Ministry sign him on as an Auror, despite the fact they look at him and go, don't really want this guy. And Newt's like, really hate this guy from my past. And then later on, the only other scene is just like him and Grindelwald, and he's like, I think they're onto me. It's like, yeah, they hated you. I don't know why they signed you on to be a Ministry person.
Well, I can imagine that maybe the only reason why they signed him was because their entire task was to kill a child, and no one else was like, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
You know? There's only got to be one.
Yes, that maybe that's what it was.
This movie sucks.
It does suck. Oh my God, it sucks. It sucks so much, and I hate that it sucks. I wish it was good. Like, you don't think about the Predator and think, I wish the Predator was good, you know? You just, like, don't care. You just, like, try again, Hollywood. You suck. And then this one is like, no, you can't do this. You can't ruin Harry. You can't ruin this franchise. And you just did. There were other plot points that didn't come back. Like Nagini, it doesn't matter that she's a snake in this movie. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't come back. Like Nicholas Flamel doesn't come back. Like, he's there. He's around, but he doesn't do anything. Anyway, so many things that don't.
Do you think that here's an idea, and this isn't a good idea, but do you think that they could do something like this? They do the duel between Jude Law and Johnny Depp at the end of the fourth film, and then the fifth film is repercussions and a time jump in which all connecting points connect to the Harry Potter universe. do you want to see a teenage Tom Riddle meeting Nagini for the first time?
Yeah, right.
Things like that. Or do you think that they should keep that open for when there's not this cast and there can be a different writer in many years in the future? Because Harry Potter movies will happen forever.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Yeah. Now that like they've established, hey, J.K. Rowling said we can do this as a franchise, and they're
the
like,
second that they designed that Wizarding World logo, that is the Marvel Cinematic Universe pop up at the beginning of the films. If this was just Fantastic Beasts 2, I wouldn't think that this could be a forever franchise like Marvel is and like Star Wars is. And those are what I consider forever franchises. There is such a big world, and they will continue to make those films. The second that they made, it's not Harry Potter anymore, it's Wizarding World, bam, forever franchise.
The benefit of that is we are going to get a really good series at some point. Maybe a TV show.
Give me the Marauders.
Yep, everyone's calling for it. I mean, in a way...
We've already seen it, kind of.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, we do know the story. There are other stories to tell there.
Yeah, well, that's why it would be good as a TV series on Netflix rather than a movie.
Yeah, like, it's just the characters, every season's another year or something. She should make another mystery over several books about people at Hogwarts.
Do you think she should make another mystery novel the way that she did under a fake name after she made Harry Potter? She made that book that nobody liked.
She made the one that nobody liked, and then she made another one she made another one that was what was under another name, and people actually liked that.
Oh, okay. So the one that she made was under J.K. Rowling.
That was the one that people didn't like.
Yeah. Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
She is wiping away those tears with her literal billions of dollars.
Because people said like it was well written, but because it was not about anything special, like it was just about Britain or like London or like it just felt very done before.
Yeah, right. You know what I've just realised about this particular episode of this review that we're doing right now? We haven't talked about Newt Scamander, not once. Now, do you think that's because he did nothing? And he was just kind of there for a lot of it?
I still like him.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I don't want him to be faded away for Jude Law and Johnny Depp. Give me Eddie Redmayne with Jude Law in more scenes together. They were great.
I was just going to... that's what I said when I walked out the cinema, was like, if that movie was just Jude Law and Newt, it would have been fine.
Yes, exactly.
Because you've never seen a character like Newt. Like, that's not in other films. Like, yes, he's...
I disagree. I've seen season 5 to 7 of Doctor Who.
Fair enough. Well, yes, you have. Like, I guess he's like that, but Matt Smith was, happy. Newt Scamander's like, he's weird.
He's always tilting his head and giving a what's the word? Not a smile, but a grimace. He's always tilting his head with sad eyes and doing a grimace, isn't he?
Yeah, and the kid that they got was like doing a really spot-on impression of that.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yes, that was a good kid actually. Now that you mentioned it,
I felt he was doing too good of a job. Like he was too on point with the mannerisms that it was like.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god, this kid has been like practicing a lot.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, like even though he does some weird stuff, and I've heard complaints about like they don't like that Newt does weird things with animals, like dance and like lick the ground in which they stood and do weird, I don't know. But like that makes him interesting, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. Like I really liked when he was being a detective.
Yeah,
He had like all the different creatures out, and he's like, "Now you do this and play now," and then they all start doing it, and he's like figuring out the scene, and then he licks the ground, and then the Muggle guy was like, "And now he's licking the ground."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, fun. Give us more of those two. I don't want to see... I don't care about the Lestrange family tree.
No, I don't care about family trees. Like, it just seems like, this one got muddled in. Oh, who is this family? Like, who's the family? I don't care.
It's funny how they spent so much trying to be like, look, the Lestrange family tree, it all makes sense because this person was this person, and that's this many descendants from the other person that you know, and yet they put Minerva McGonagall in the school, and she's not even born yet.
Yeah. Oh, wasn't she?
No. Everyone
Oh,
was
no.
like, "Why?" Because he was like, "Miss McGonagall, may you please transfer these students away?" And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. McGonagall's in here, but she's a lot younger than Dumbledore, and you didn't get to see her." So I thought, oh, maybe it's like it's a young McGonagall. Maybe she's even a student. I don't think she was ever a student. And then I look up to see what reviews are saying, and everyone's going like, hang on a second, Minerva McGonagall wasn't born until 18 years after the events of this film.
Oh
And also, there's no... McGonagall was the first of her name, so this is definitely not a descendant. And
that is trash.
People were saying maybe it's, maybe they just forgot that it's the first of her name, and they just wanted there to be a nice little Easter egg. But in the screenplay, it is not, McGonagall, please transfer these students away. It is, Miss Minerva McGonagall, full name and all. Take these students away. J.K. Rowling wrote this.
How did she do that? I've read like a full detailed thing that J.K. Rowling wrote about Minerva McGonagall and her background. Like, she knows exactly who she is. It's very detailed, and this... how could they do that?
You know what?
It just shows they don't care. It just...
Yeah, McGonagall being in there, the inconsistencies regarding who's holding the Elder Wand at this point, and the last scene of the film, which we've not talked about, and we are already way over time, are all things that people are theorizing about how it could all connect how it could all work, and I'm banking that they are banking on us figuring it out for them, and they will apply that. Be like, hey, God, we thought about this all along. It's just the same as Stephen Moffat did at the end of Sherlock.
Yeah.
Started to actually utilize fan theories in the show. I genuinely think that the theory that is blowing up, and it's not really a theory, it's just kind of, this is regarding the end. Spoiler alert for Crimes of Grindelwald. Ezra Miller is a Dumbledore. And
that's right.
He is the long lost, never spoken about, ever referred to at no point brother of Dumbledore that isn't Aberforth or the sister. What's her name? She's dead.
Ariana.
And there we go. Now the theory is, of course, that Grindelwald is just lying. I think that that's true. But people then say, how did the Phoenix arrive? There are two theories there. One, it's not a real phoenix. It's another bird that can just show up out of the air, and he's just like, hey, it's a phoenix. And I think there was someone said that when Newt was in the flashback, when Newt was in the school, he's patting a bird and he's like, it's a firebird, but it's not a phoenix. So it might be that. Okay. And the other one is that it is the phoenix, specifically it is Fawkes. Credence isn't a Dumbledore, but the Obscurus inside him is Ariana. So that's how it still managed to find Fawkes' way to Credence was through Ariana, and that's why Fawkes will respond to him.
Oh, okay. That works.
That is the only way that it works.
The Obscurus thing.
Hint to that in the film, so that it doesn't seem like we're doing the work for you, because if this was the plan all along, there's no way that we can determine whether we didn't do the work for that. Because this movie, the next movie is not going to come out for another year or 2 years. By that point, they'll be like, yeah, we know. Well, we'll be like, yeah, we know, because that's the only thing that makes sense. And they'll be like, we thought about it all along. We'll be like, but did you though?
Yeah, like, they shouldn't set everything up like this, because everyone's going to guess. Like, they need the Harry Potter books work because they were standalone. Like, you could read them as one thing and it would make sense usually, like, except for maybe the last few books. So you wouldn't keep guessing at what was going to happen, you know. I guess the one last note I have is I think ultimately the reason this movie is just crap, like, other than obviously the plot's not good, but the reason the movie's crap in terms of its structure, because it feels weirdly paced, doesn't it? It's like jumps around.
It was
everyone.
One of the worst paced films I've ever seen.
Yes.
I was bored, and then this is too much, and then I was bored.
Yeah, exactly. It was lots of boring parts.
It was the Man of Steel effect.
I would say the reason this movie's so like that is because it, unlike literally all of the Harry Potter books and Fantastic Beasts, it's not about one character and their friends, and it's not a mystery that they're solving. It's like, it's about lots of characters all solving little different mysteries.
Yeah.
And you just don't have time to care about any of the plot threads.
For an overarching point that 98% of the people that are sitting in the cinema know how it's going to go around. You know what, Ollie? This Fantastic Beasts are going to be the Harry Potter of somebody else's childhood. They're going to look forward to the new Fantastic Beasts movie the same way that we were looking forward to Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah, but we enjoyed those movies. Like, those were good movies anyway. Like,
yeah, but they get sexy young Dumbledore. These kids are so lucky. They get sexy Dumbledore.
I just feel like the kids will be like, we don't care. It was... I don't know.
I'd like to think that the kids are smart enough to realise that this is in fact bad. But Jude Law was very good.
Yep, Jude Law was very good. And so is Newt Scamander. I wish this was just an adventure between them trying to get Grindelwald, and at the end, they do. And then it moves on to a different movie the next time. Quidditch Through the Ages.
Yes.
Like, how cool would a Quidditch movie be? It's like a sports movie, but, you know...
Yeah.
It's got wizards. This movie, from me, gets one angry emoji, one sad emoji, and one confused face emoji, because I'm conflicted. But all with all negative emotions, conflicted.
Yeah, this was a fuck. Should I give it a fail?
I'm not putting it on that score, because I think it's just... It doesn't deserve anything.
Should I give it... Yeah.
Yeah, fail it. Yeah, fail.
The only redeeming qualities are the fact that it's set in the Wizarding World.
Yeah. That's right.
And that is a fail. I can't be a good reviewer if the foundation of a thing is what makes it okay. If everything... It is not a house if it is 4 bits of wood making a square.
Yeah.
Those 4 bits of wood are good, but it is not a house.
And you just like it because it had like a cool painting that you had in your other house.
Yeah, it had official sketchings of like a wand battle, and I was like, oh, magic is cool. And then the house is like, oh, magic is cool. You can't live in me though, and I'm not supportive, and eventually I will become a house, but right now I am wood.
Yeah. Wait, good analogies here on the podcast.
This sucks.
Yeah, this sucks so much. I'm just really sad. Anyway,
we have to go.
Tell the people how they can voice their own frustrations.
Yeah, if you'd like to get in contact with us and let us know what you thought of Crimes of Grindelwald, you can do that by going to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/ignoranceisthispodcast. Write us a message and say, I thought this movie was good, and explain why you thought it was good, and we'll listen and maybe even talk about it on next week's show or next month's show, because we've been releasing later and later. The other way that you can do that is the same thing, but on Twitter, which is twitter.com/ignoranceispod. Know this, just ignoranceispod. And shoot us an email as well. That's the way you can send us the most amount of stuff, because you don't have character restrictions. ignoranceisthispodcast@gmail.com. And of course, we've also got a Tumblr, which has been still having stuff added to it. It is ignoranceisthispodcast.tumblr.com. It is run by our good friend Eden, posting stuff about the films that we talk about, and sometimes she talks about the things that she's seen and voices her own opinions, which is very good. We're going to have Eden on the show sometime soon.
Yeah. Nice.
I think that's it.
Yep. And as we always like to end the show with a haiku about the movie we've watched this week. Yep. I've prepared 3 of them.
Oh, 3! Wow.
Because usually if it's, a movie I don't really think about, I forget to prepare one, and I'm usually coming up with one when you're doing the plugs. But I've got 3. And mostly
you put more work into these haikus than J.K. Rowling put into the script.
I would say so.
It's a good jumping off point. That's all that it is. Sorry. I feel like I'm going to get a message from casual fans and be like, "You hate this thing," and I'll be like, "Yeah, kind of." But let me say, I think that the next films are going to be okay, especially the last one. The other 2 are a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
Could be good, but probably
wasn't there
not.
another franchise recently where it's like we kept waiting for a new thing, but it never got good?
Star Wars? Star Wars was overall, people were disappointed in Last Jedi after like 3 years of convincing themselves it was going to be the best film they've ever seen.
Yeah. Maybe
I maintain it's pretty good.
Maybe I'm thinking of House of Cards, which had a solid first 2 seasons, and then every season you hoped it got better, but it didn't really.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
And now it might be good again because it's...
He's gone.
He's out of here.
In all fairness, his character was the best part of the show, and it's still not good. But
right, okay.
Anyway, 3 haikus about the Crimes of Grindelwald. I mostly just wrote 3 because I didn't know which to decide on, so I'm just reading all of them, even though... Okay, so the worst one first.
Because a trilogy is better than an elongated 5-gy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Continue.
Here's the first one. What crimes did old mate actually commit? Stupid title, stupid film. Because
That's a very good summary. That's a good article headline, I think.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, I know he did do bad things, but it's not like, it didn't feel like he was committing crimes, you know? It didn't feel like, you know, this was a...
Yeah.
It was a heist mystery, and the cops were after him, and he had to, you know, steal something or...
Yeah. He let a few babies die, but he didn't kill the babies.
You get a stronger sense of Voldemort's crimes, you know? Like, every time Voldemort returns to power, there's all these mysterious disappearances and stuff. That's more what I was thinking of when I think crimes, you know? There's lots of little crimes and stuff, but...
I suppose he did light that thing on fire, that tomb on fire. Property damage was the worst crime that he did.
Desecration, yeah.
Yeah, property damage to a tomb.
But then again...
threatening the bombing of France, I suppose, but not actually doing it.
And then, but like you said, is he right? Is he the good guy? Because he stopped the Holocaust. Anyway,
okay.
Next haiku was, Crimes of Grindelwald has less soul than a man who split his in 7.
That's another article headline.
I tell you, I spent time on these ones.
Is there a subreddit called Accidental Haikus? Because I reckon you could write for a magazine and your stuff would be posted on that all the time.
Yeah, I think there is actually. I think there is. And I'll end with one positive haiku, I guess. Or more,
awesome.
More of like a, you know, things to come sort of haiku.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so X-Men Origins of the Wizarding World. Can't wait for Logan.
That's a good point. Yes, very good. Very good.
Yep, it's the steaming pile of crap after other good movies. Even though X-Men wasn't as flawless as Harry Potter. This was the 10th movie in the Harry Potter series. You'd think after 9 they knew how to do a good job, but
there's going to be a misstep in every franchise, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Even Game of Thrones had the boring episodes.
Yeah. But then you have the next episode, you know?
Yeah. And the boring episodes of Game of Thrones was like the first one, and then everything else is perfect.
Yeah, you're right. Or like even if it's boring, like there's still a good scene in it somewhere, you know? I'm sad.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.